evening, friends and neighbors. Or shall I say this afternoon?
Welcome back to the Denver Broncos franchise on Madden 22. I'm your host, longtime listener. Be sure to drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment below. Let's see here. So we are ready for preseason action in the 2025 campaign, starting off with the Seahawks. We don't necessarily care too much about game planning in the preseason, but we are going to bump up to full pads for these few games simply because during the games, guys are going to be splitting reps anyway. Plus, we'll have a bye in a couple of weeks, or an off week before the regular season anyway, where everybody can get refreshed, charge their batteries, and be ready to go for week one. So, look at this. It already says that Luke Burke has universal coverage under the dev trait, which tells me he is a superstar X Factor dev trait. That is freaking awesome. Like, we drafted basically the best player in the draft anyway, as far as his overall, and he's going to be a stud. Then Marcus Webster is going to get a little bit of attention as far as his development, because we'll want to see if he turns into a star or superstar or whatever. But this is freaking awesome. Anyway, as far as the rest of the draft class, we can still leave Sammy Webster on here, even though he was from last year's class, because we only drafted 5 guys. So Webster will get a second year where we'll let him continue to try and develop and turn him into a stud. So that is, oh man, is that awesome. So for the preseason, doesn't really, like, honestly, these weekly goals don't really matter that much anymore. I'll probably just kind of start ignoring them because staff points have gotten to where they're mostly irrelevant, except for if I want to each season spend points on the Fountain of Youth to pick a position for a player that then won't get worse that year, I can spend those points. And I have a plan for that this year. I'm thinking Khalil Mack could benefit from that. We've got him signed, I believe, to a 2-year deal anyway. So if we can give him that Fountain of Youth trait where he won't get worse because of his age, that'll help keep him, extremely competitive for these next couple of years while we've still got him. And that way we maximize our value. And I'll show you that on the tree here, just so you can kind of see what we're looking at. Bear with me a second. God, my house is freezing right now. I'm like shivering. Alright, so we still have a few of these that we'll eventually purchase, but we don't need those, honestly. And then this one here, we could buy once per season if we needed to for 32 points to unlock the opportunity to re-sign a player who we were trying to sign but said they were going to test free agency. This one right here is the one that we want to get purchased ASAP. So it slows down ratings regression for 1 season. It's not going to stop it altogether, but it'll slow it down, and that way you kind of extend the usable life of a player by keeping them competitive longer. But that's 40 points. We've got to save up for that one for a few weeks. We want to get that, though, as our next purchase so that we can list Khalil Mack on that one and hopefully, like I said, make him stay as competitive as possible. Now, before we jump into preseason action, we actually need to go set our depth chart. And I'm strongly considering just starting Luke Burke at strong safety. No question at quarterback. No question at halfback. Nothing going on at wide receiver we need to deal with. Or at fullback, I mean. Now, wide receiver, Burgess, I think I want in that 3rd spot. And then Marshall will leave as the 4th wideout. I think that's probably the... You know what, though? Let's go the other direction with that. Marshall is probably the better option running deep routes because of his speed, and he's got the height. So we'll go with him. I think he's the little bit better weapon in that regard. So that's that. Not going to make a huge difference anyway. They'll both get on the field a fair amount this year. Nothing we need to do at tight end. Left tackle will still be Bulls with Green backing him up. Guard will be Moody with Botker backing him up. Center is going to be Cushenberry until he gets hurt. And then Wilkins will take over. Right guard is Miners with Herbig backing him up. And then right tackle is McMillan with the veteran Will Richardson. That's his backup. So that stuff's all straightforward. Left end will still be Draymond Jones. Right end will still be James Webster. D tackle, we might have a little bit of controversy here. No, we'll just let that go. That's fine. And then, do I need to do anything down here? I think I'll just put best fourth instead of fifth. That's probably not going to matter, though, because neither of them are ever going to see the field. Khalil Mack at left outside linebacker. McPherson. And then Tavai as the backup, the free agent we signed. Feel pretty good there. Chubb on the other side. I'll tell you what, this defense has the potential to be really, really good this year. Patrick Surtain coming into his own. We've got some good young corners coming up through the ranks in these couple of guys. So, look out for this Denver defense. Justin Simmons is slowly starting to regress a little bit. But, you know, Caden Stearns could just jump right in and be the starter if we had to. He wouldn't be the greatest, but he's not that bad. Now here, we kind of have a decision to make. Basically, Khari Willis is the better player. But Luke Burke would arguably be one of those players where, like, people around the league just kind of know that there might be something special about this guy. He's got decent awareness already. The speed and agility and everything are way, way better than what Willis brings to the table. But Willis is a little bit more polished in terms of coverage, tackling, etc. So I think what we will do is maybe go with this early in the season and kind of see how things are going, at least through the preseason. And then maybe we adjust that as the season gets going. If it's looking like he's just, like, if Willis just isn't making any plays for us, maybe we give him a try. Give Burke a try and see how he does. I think we're going to go ahead and stick with Corey Bryant here. I kind of like the idea of Webster because he's got better speed and he's got better carrying. Let's do that. So that's fine. And then we've got like long snapper and a couple that we don't really care about that much. Third down back. Let's go with Stevenson here. He is the better option. And I don't know why they had those backwards, but whatever. Power back will be Williams. Slot. This is where it gets interesting because I want Judy as the number 1 and I want Sutton as the number 2. And what that'll do is when they go into the slot, whenever we go 3 or 4 wide, then Marshall and Burgess will get on the field as the third and fourth wideouts. So that's what we want there. Left end. So they're going to put Khalil Mack there. I wonder if they move Draymond Jones inside. And then it's Mack, Chubb, Webster, and Jones. Yeah. Oh, man, is that going to be dangerous, guys. When we're in the nickel Teams are going to just hate facing this defense. Now here, this is interesting. Our second best sub linebacker could be Luke Burke. We're going to do that. So we'll put him there. And then here, let's go with, I guess, like Browning as the third option instead of Stearns. So when we're in the nickel, we're going to have a crazy good defensive line in those four, and then these two right behind them, which are also pretty dangerous. I think this defense is going to be freaking awesome this year. In the corner, Stearns is a decent coverage guy as far as like his ability to play cornerback. And that's noteworthy because I think, see, here's another scenario. Like if we're going 5 corners, the fifth best is Luke Burke. He's actually better than Romeo Carr. So that's a way I could get him onto the field. If we go into the dime, I could play him. Like his zone coverage is way better than Carr. And his man coverage is actually not even that much worse. I think that's the move. Heck yeah. So he's going to be getting on the field one way or another. It's just we're getting a little bit creative, I guess, about how we achieve that. But you notice that Corey Bryant is not on that list. He's not a very good slot corner, apparently. So that's no good. But let's go ahead now and sim through the preseason. Then we'll show you the results. I got to remember not to simulate the last week, that bye, so that we can go and show you each individual game stats. But let's simulate here, and then we'll jump back in. I actually forgot that we need to hire new scouts for this year, so we'll cover that first before we cover all the preseason action. So we will not need a wideout this year. We might need a free safety to replace Simmons. So I'm wondering if that should be our priority, though, or if we need to be looking for a linebacker to eventually replace Khalil Mack. I think we're just going to leave all of these the way they are. And then offensively, let's maybe go and try and find a guard. I don't know. I mean, we're not in that bad of shape across the board. Let's go. Yeah, let's. No. We don't want to fire him. Let's go and find a tier 1 who can find us a guard or a center. I'd be okay with either one. Cushenberry isn't bad, and he's still young, but he is injury prone, and that drives me nutso. So let's go back to my scouts, and then he is going to get, I guess, Central as his zone. So that's that. Now we're ready to continue and finish the preseason. All right, so we have simmed through those first, those 3 preseason games. We'll cover the results of those here in just a second, but we actually need to cut 3 players. Shouldn't be that difficult. This guy's just a roster filler that I don't even know why he's on the roster. Same thing here. We don't need you. Move him to the practice squad. And then Hawthorne, another guy that I don't think we added to the team, but somehow ended up on here, even though I don't even think the autofill option is turned on, but whatever. Those 3 guys are gone. Now, we've got 44 staff points, which means we can actually come in here and buy that Fountain of Youth trait, and it's going to be Khalil Mack at left outside linebacker. Boom. So for this season, ratings regressions will be slowed for that position, which is Khalil Mack and Who else? Malik Reed, I believe, who's also kind of up there in age as well. So that helps a little bit on that front. Now let's go and look at the schedule so that we can see the results. We ended up going 2-1. We lost to the Giants this last week, and they put one on us. We scored 48 points against the Seahawks. Our defense actually has not done as well as I would have hoped. Look at all the offense in this game. Both teams 403 yards passing and 78 and 74 yards rushing respectively. We scored 35 points in the first quarter. Oh my God. They turned it over twice, and I'll bet you both of them were. And they even scored 7 points in the first quarter. That is insane. So let's look at the stats. Brett Morris, 223 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, no sacks. And that's on 10 completions. He used 10 for 10, 223 yards, 3 touchdowns. Perfect QB rating. Then Gardner Minshew comes in, goes 11 for 22, 180 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions. Russell Wilson threw those 2 picks, and I'll bet you those were in the first quarter, and then this dude came in and torched us, although we sacked him 4 times. Javonte Williams, 9 carries, 22 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Stevenson was pretty good. Cortland Sutton, a huge day. Jerry Jeudy, 3 touchdowns. So those 2 right there, very impressive. That's actually good to see from the rookie right there. 3 catches, 58 yards. Albert O getting some action. Burgess, 1 catch, 24 yards. I like seeing the yards per catch way up there. Same thing here. So we're moving the ball downfield is the bottom line. Now I want to see the defense just to kind of see where's Luke Burke, man? 1 tackle. So he didn't do anything. Who had the sacks for us? Malik Reed had 3 of them, and then Webster and Chubb combined for the other. The interceptions, Surtain and McPherson. Good enough. Now let's look at game number 2 against the Saints. We won 31-24. Came from behind in the second half to beat them. Defense was pretty good for us. I'm happy with both of those. And then offense, I'm actually happy with both of those outputs. Turnovers, 1 apiece, not that bad. Individually, Carson Wentz was really good against us. Brett Morris was really good for us. Gardner Minshew was also pretty good. Morris did throw the interception. We ended up sacking them 4 times. They only got to us once, so that's good. Stevenson getting the lion's share of the carries yet again and doing pretty well. Williams was all right. Through the air, Terrace Marshall, a nice day. Burgess doing pretty well. Jeudy, limited action, also got a touchdown. Albert O, another pretty nice day. Francois, 2 catches, 26 yards, and a touchdown. That a boy. Cortland Sutton, only 13 yards, but he did have a touchdown as well. Now let's go to the defense. Burke, much more involved this time. 5 tackles. That's kind of what we're looking for. I want to see him, like, making plays, basically. All right, so Chubb, a couple more sacks. Webster and Ajim got 1. Did we have any interceptions or just 1 for them? Just 1 for them. All right, now this game against the Giants obviously did not go very well. We lose 35-10. Offense wasn't very good. Defense wasn't very good. We turned it over 3 times. You just can't be doing stuff like that. And it was Brett Morris. He was not very good in this one. Picked off twice. A QB rating of 26.6. Gardner Minshew was also picked off. We got to Daniel Jones for 3 sacks and an interception, but all in all, they just outplayed us in this one. Williams finally getting involved and had a decent day. We did a good job slowing down Saquon Barkley. Where's Trey Stevenson? Why all of a sudden is he not getting the football at all? Did I miss something here? He never touched the football. What's up with that? Maybe they took him out of the game before, and then or by the time he got in there, we had to start airing it out to try and come back. But that's just weird. Whatever. Another good day for Marshall. Another good day for Albert O. And then not a lot going on beyond that. All right, defense. What went wrong here? Burke led the team in tackles and had an interception. I think he's my guy. I think we're gonna love him. I wish he was a middle linebacker with that kind of upside. But I'm excited about him. All right, Bradley Chubb and Khalil Mack getting sacks, and then Webster and Jones combining for 1. So those 4 that we talked about being really dangerous whenever we go to the nickel all came up with plays in this one, but it wasn't enough. There's the interception for us. And then linebacker, free safety, and corner all coming up with the INTs for them. It's the preseason. It doesn't mean that much, but it is kind of something that sometimes you can see some things going on that are noteworthy. And I liked that each game, Luke Burke seemed to get progressively more comfortable and making more plays, so that's a good sign. I think we're going to go ahead and leave the depth chart the way it is for right now, where he's not going to be the starter at strong safety, but he is going to get some playing time whenever we go into dime packages and nickel packages, which is going to be a fair amount. So he's going to see some time, and if he keeps making plays in that role, then we may consider, swapping him in as the starter, and then he and Willis kind of maybe split some reps at strong safety, where when we go to the dime and the nickel, he still moves back to those other positions, and then Willis comes onto the field and plays anytime we're not in the 3-4, basically. But that's that. So let's go ahead now and jump forward to where we're ready for week 1 action against the Steelers. We'll get our strategy set and all that fun stuff and be ready to rock. So looking forward to an exciting season here. 2025, I think this team is poised to have a very good season. Setting the season goal, as much as I would like to say, let's win the Super Bowl, I don't like the risk that would come along with it when the only bonus is that you get more staff points. That doesn't really matter. So we're going to just say make the playoffs. That is goal number 1. Everything else is, one game at a time. So opening day key to victory against the Steelers. With Najee Harris, I think stopping the run could be a key. So, and with this team this year, I think defense is going to be important. Let's say stifling defense and then stop the run. So we got to allow less than 75 yards rushing, which could be tough because Najee Harris can get those in one run if he breaks a tackle or two. So we're going to have to really, play a strong game defensively to meet that goal. But I just want to win. I don't care how. We just want to win. And against this team, who is their quarterback now? I think it was Colin Kaepernick before. Is he still there? What happens if I go here? Kellen Mond. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and focus on stopping the run. I am not worried about their passing attack with basically a quarterback that's no better than a typical backup. So we need to come in here and change this back to half paths. And then offensively, as usual, it'll be blitz counter. They still have TJ Watt, and I'm sure he's still pretty dangerous. Did I not ever go in and put these guys on full pads? I guess I didn't, but whatever. Not a big deal. And now here, We're going to go throw some TDs, get a bunch of first downs, run the ball, and get some sacks. We're going to get the lead. They're going to have to start trying to pass it, and they're going to be in serious trouble whenever they do that. So, that's our strategy. Get the lead early. Make teams have to try and throw the ball against you, because with those 4 monsters coming after you out of the nickel, it is going to be trouble. For quarterbacks that don't throw well under pressure, we're going to own them. All right, so Stevenson will keep emphasizing elusiveness. He's a good enough receiving back that I don't need to put any attention to that. Raijon Mcmillan was the focus of a mentorship in the preseason, where he got some pass protection bonuses, and he got an XP bonus at one point. So he's now up to a 76 overall and a 74 as a pass protector, which is pretty good for a second-year guy. Marcus Webster, the rookie rookie right outside linebacker, getting a bonus. His pass coverage is decent enough that I think I'm just going to go with like the power rush concept and try and get him to where whenever Chubb retires, he's good enough to step into that role. He's got time to develop, and the hidden dev trait, you know, obviously a little bit of a question mark at this point, but even if it's just a star, he'll be pretty good for us. Webster, we're going to keep going power rusher. There we go. All right, I think we are ready, are we not? Wait for it. Yep, we're ready. So we got some players signed off of our practice squad, but no big deal. All right, we are ready for game 1 of the 2025 season. It's going to be in the Steel City against the Steelers, and here we go. And here we are in the Steel City. It is going to be the Steelers and the Broncos. Kellen Mond at the helm for the Pittsburgh Steelers, a quarterback known for his athleticism, but not quite sure if he's going to be able to do things through the air enough to keep this team balanced. Imagine that they are going to have to rely on Najee Harris. Starting things off, it's going to be the Broncos getting the football. Bryant brings it out to about the 28, but a flag on the play. It's going to be holding during the return, and the Broncos going to start from their own 15. So Brett Morris going to work on his first possession of the 2025 season. He's going to just flip this out to Javonte Williams, fighting for some extra yards, gets to the first down. Now 1st and 10. They go to the ground with Williams, and he's got 11 yards right up the middle. Good start for Denver, as it's going to be 1st and 10 now at the 36. Now 3rd and 5 from the 41. That's complete to Judy over the middle. Good coverage there by Devin Bush. Couldn't break it up, though, and the drive will continue. Now 3rd down and 9 from the 48. Morris looking to throw, going down the middle. Good coverage there as well. A man just climbing on the back of Noah Fant, but he makes the catch, gets it down to the 33-yard line. Now 3rd and 1 from the 24. It's Javonte Williams. A nice hold to the left side there. Gets it down to the 10-yard line, setting up 1st and goal for the Broncos. Now 2nd and 1. Morris looking to throw. He's got it to Cortland Sutton for the 1-yard touchdown pass. And the Broncos score a touchdown on their opening drive of the season. So a great start there. It took 13 plays to go 84 yards, and they chew up over 6 minutes in the process of getting that 7-0 lead. Now the ensuing kickoff, Gervasi going to send this one out of the back of the end zone, and the Steelers are going to start from their own 25. And again, it's Kellen Mond at the helm for this team. A lot of question marks here about his ability to throw the football. Now 2nd and 1, they try to go play action, but Will McPherson was blitzing, came in untouched, gets the sack, makes it 3rd down and 10 now at the 36-yard line. And now Mond going to look to throw, but nothing there, so he takes off with it. And there he shows his ability to run, but McPherson slams him down just shy of the 1st down, sets up 4th and inches, and a decision for Mike Tomlin
but they're going to take it conservatively and just go ahead and punt this away. And it's not a bad punt here, angled out at the 13-yard line. So, again, Denver starting from way back in their own territory. Now 3rd and 5. Morris going to go deep down the sideline, intended for Burgess, but that pass, not Burgess, that was Marshall, incomplete. And the Broncos have to punt. So they're going to send it away. That's going to be fielded right about the 27, a very short return and an injury during the return. So we'll have a timeout, and Pittsburgh will go back to work with 2:17 left in the first quarter. Now 2nd down and 2, play action. Vaughn to throw, goes down the middle for Chris Godwin, and he's got that one out across midfield to the 47-yard line, and a Steelers 1st down. Now 1st and 10, they go give it to Najee Harris. He's got a nice hole there. Tavai makes the tackle, but not before Harris has 10 yards and another Steelers 1st down. Now 2nd and 7, Mon from the pocket, lots of time, but he's going to take off with it and has tons of room up the middle. Takes this down inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. That's the final play of the first quarter. The Steelers trail 7-0. They are knocking now as they've got it into the red zone. Now 1st and goal from the 7. They're going to give it to Najee Harris. He's tackled after a short gain, but more importantly, he is going to be hurt on the play as Khalil Mack brought him down. He's going to be injured, and he would not return in this game. Next play, Spencer Johnston just roars up the middle, slams Mon down to the turf for the sack, and that's making it 3rd and goal from the 12. Steelers now going to try and make a or take a look at it here on 3rd down, but nothing there for Mon. He's just going to take off, get a few yards. He's tackled short of the yard to gain, and they're going to have to settle for the field goal, but the Steelers on the board now. It is 7-3 partway through the 2nd. Morris to throw from the 41-yard line on the ensuing drive. He's got it to Jerry Jeudy, complete and into Steelers territory to the 46. Now 1st and 10 from the 30. They get Jeudy on the hitch again, and he's got it down to the 14-yard line. The gain of 16, his 3rd catch of the afternoon. Now 1st and goal from the 4. They go up the middle with Javonte Williams, and he is going to take it in for the touchdown. That would make it 13-3. The extra point is good and make it an 11-point lead for the Broncos here now late in the first half. Now 2nd and 8 on the ensuing drive. Mon rolls out, throws this after spinning out of the pocket, and that is going to be caught by Roper. A beautiful catch there. He was pretty well covered, but just goes up and wins the jump ball, and that gets him into Broncos territory. But now 3rd and 8, and they are going to try and throw one to Roper again, but this time Patrick Surtain going to make the pick. He brings it back to the 46-yard line, so good field position for the Broncos. But you see there, Will McPherson shaken up on the play. So about 3 minutes to go in the half, Broncos going on offense, but Morris tried to roll out to the left. Bowles is out of the game with an injury, and Lindsey Green just got smoked by Cleveland Farrell there, and that's going to be a huge loss, making it 3rd and 20. And you see there, Will McPherson is going to be out for the rest of the game with broken ribs. And at this point in the ball game, the Broncos would end up punting. Now with a minute to go, it's the Steelers back on offense. 3rd and 6. Mon rolling way out. Looked like he could have just run with it, but throws it back across the middle of the field, complete to Chris Godwin for a 1st down and gets him into field goal range. They'll use their first timeout. Now from the 36, 1st and 10. Mon going to take off with it again. They looked like they might get a sack, but instead he's able to escape and picks up 19 yards. Steelers use another timeout. Now we're down inside 30 seconds. 2nd down and 5. Mon going to roll out. He's going to flip it outside to Humphrey, who's going to be tackled inbounds at the 6-yard line. The Steelers would use their final timeout. Then they would throw an incomplete pass. Now on 2nd and goal, the clock running out, he flips it to his halfback who gets tackled inbounds. They get no points on this final possession. That is a huge mistake there, as they took a chance maybe trying to get a touchdown, but poor clock management by the offense there as they end up not getting any points whatsoever. Both offenses doing a pretty decent job moving the football. The takeaway by the Broncos was big, as it set them up with pretty good field position, and ultimately part of the reason why they've got this 14-3 lead at the half. We'll look around the league at some other scores as the Colts are just ahead of the Texans, 15-14 there. at halftime in Indianapolis. Next, we will go to Green Bay, where it's going to be the Packers and the Cardinals. And Jordan Love and crew is trailing in that one. It is 24-13. James Conner, a big first half with 6 carries for 113 yards, and he's already got 2 touchdowns on the afternoon. Then we go up the road to Minnesota, where it's the Vikings and the Lions, and it's Minnesota out in front in that one. Zach Wilson now leading the squad there as the quarterback, and he's got them ahead 21-7. Now on to the third quarter. It's the first play of the second half after the disastrous end of the first half. It's not a good start to the second half, as it's Raijon Jones coming right up the middle, gets the sack for a loss of 6. Next play, Mond going to try and get out of the pocket, but James Webster has other ideas, drops him for another sack, and that sets up 3rd down and 20. So now, Kellen Mond's got work to do if they're going to try and keep this drive alive. He's going to roll out by plenty of time and eventually going to find a man downfield. It's Yeboah making the catch all the way out to the 44-yard line, a gain of 27 yards on 3rd down and 20. Excuse me, and they are able to convert. Now 2nd down and 8, and that pass going to be picked off by Surtain again. He was pretty well covered. That pass intended for Deontay Johnson, but Surtain cuts in front, makes the interception, and he's got 2 of them already on the day. Now 2nd down and 3 on the ensuing drive. Noah Fant on play action going to the corner on the corner route there. Makes the grab down the sideline, and now 3rd and goal from the 4. It's going to be Jerry Jeudy in the back of the end zone for the touchdown grab, and that would make it 21-3 as the Steelers offense now in trouble. Without Najee Harris, they've got to rely on Kellen Mond to try and get him back into it, and the first play of the ensuing possession is picked off by Tavai. Great field position for the Broncos at the 18-yard line. 21-3, make it 28-3 as Javonte Williams is going to take that in for his 2nd touchdown of the day. Now on the ensuing drive, Mond looking. He's got plenty of time. He's going to take off running with it, but here comes the rookie Luke Burke. He hits he puts a big lick on him. Ball comes loose. Webster there to recover, and this one just gets away from the Steelers. At that point, they were pretty much out of it, already trailing 28-3, gave up the ball. They would score a touchdown. The final score is going to be 31-10, but turnovers definitely the story in this one, as the Broncos were able to force 5 turnovers on the day. They got outgained yardage-wise, as you'll see here. The Steelers 6.6 yards of play. That's not that bad versus the 5.4 that the Broncos were able to contribute, but those 5 takeaways versus 0 on the other side is going to do it as the Steelers fall in this one. Kellen Mond ended up having a decent day as far as yardage goes. As you'll see here, he ended up passing for 259 yards on 26 for 36, but 4 interceptions on the afternoon. Brett Morris never really needed to do that much, ends up 16 for 23, 137 yards, and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions for his day. Kellen Mond ran for over 100 yards for the Steelers, but he did have a fumble that was recovered by the Denver Broncos. Javonte Williams, just 11 carries, ends up with 72 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Stevenson, 30 yards. There's Humphrey with 6 carries for 22 and a touchdown. Najee Harris had 30 yards on 6 carries before he exited. Javian Hawkins getting into the action late with 3 carries for 22 yards. Benny Snell, 1 rush for 11. Take a look at the receiving numbers, as it's Philip Humphrey leading the Steelers with 7 catches out of the backfield for 70 yards. Freiermuth 6 catches, but just 26 yards. James Roper made that nice grab, ends up with 59 yards on the day. Godwin 67 yards on 4 catches. Decent day for Noah Fant. Jerry Jeudy 40 yards and a touchdown. You see there, Yeboah made that one sensational play for 27 yards on 3rd and 20. Cortland Sutton just 1 catch for 1 yard, but it was a touchdown, so fantasy owners rejoice. You see the leading tackler for both sides is the rookie Luke Burke in his first game, filling in for the injured Will McPherson. Played a lot at the nickel linebacker position and ends up having a pretty good day for them, including 1 tackle for a loss. Alex Highsmith led the Steelers with 9 tackles. For sacks, it was 1 for Cleveland Farrell, and then you've got Spencer Johnston, Draymond Jones, Will McPherson, James Webster all coming up with sacks for the Broncos, and then T.J. Watt also had 1 for the black and gold. Interceptions were 2 for Surtain, 1 for Tavai, and then 1 for Justin Simmons late in the ball game as well. Drew Price, 1 field goal, hit a 50-yarder, his first field goal attempt as a pro. Josh Brown, 1 for 1, both field goals and extra points. Stravasi had to punt 3 times with a net average of 39 yards, having one going into the end zone for a touchback. Ty Long, just 1 punt, 40 yards down inside the 20, and the Steelers fall in this one, 31-10.
So it's an interesting win in week 1 where really turnovers the obvious story in that one. Because other than that, you know, Pittsburgh actually played pretty well. But they were so bad in that department that they just had no chance. So good job by the team creating those opportunities. We get the win. We didn't get the goal of stopping the run game and holding them to less than 75 yards, but it's because of QB scrambles that constantly hurt us, but not bad. I mean, it was something that, Mond used it well, but a lot of times it didn't matter because we ended up taking the ball away anyway. So, we've got 20 staff points to spend. We're saving up to try and get 40 to where we can buy that Fountain of Youth thing. Actually, no, we already did that, didn't we? So let's see if we can spend this 20 points on anything in here. Because unless I'm dreaming, we've already got this set to help Khalil Mack. So I think what we'll do is actually just come over here and finish out this tree. Doesn't matter really which ones we get because once these 2 here are purchased, the rest are things that we only need to purchase once a season or whatever. I could come over here and purchase these as well, but these don't really mean that much to me because we're not really going to be replacing coordinators very often. I don't know why we ever would, unless they get hired away, but I haven't seen that happen yet in any of my franchise runs, so. Okay, we've got 1 injury to report. Oh, probably McPherson. Broken ribs, he'll be out for 4 weeks. So this is a chance for Luke Burke to get some serious playing time because now in the nickel and in the dime, he's like the first guy on the depth chart at linebacker, which is kind of interesting. But again, it's going to get him some playing time, which is cool. Because I kind of want to see what he can do. And he did play pretty well in that game. In fact, I think he forced the fumble. I forgot to look at that. Let me double check that. If I go into stats, it should be in here. So let's go individual stats. Defense. We're looking for forced fumbles. Right there. Boom. He got one. So he put the hit on Mond that forced the fumble that I think Spencer Johnston recovered. Anyway, that's it for week 1. Let's go ahead and advance, and then we've got week 2 action at home against the Patriots. Then in week 3, it's our first game against an AFC West opponent with the Chargers coming to town. So it'd be nice to get off to a good start here and win, several games in a row. Regional focus scouting. Let's just go ahead and set these to whatever makes the most sense. So here, left end is a weakness, so we certainly don't want to do that. I don't really need a right end that bad. What are we looking for overall? Defensive end, guard or center, a free safety, and a middle linebacker. And I didn't see those as strengths at any of the... Yeah, they're not strengths in any region. So the overall strengths are wide receiver, corner, and halfback. Golly, I don't really feel like we need any of those, but I feel like you kind of need to just go and try and get the best guy out there. This could be a bust of a class. I kind of like Artemis Gold because the name is awesome. Projected to go 23rd or 23rd right there. Let's just do it. Why not? Cortland Sutton is actually getting up there in age to the point where maybe we can start looking for a replacement for him. See here, right guard and left guard are both weaknesses in this territory, so we certainly don't want to do that. Let's go. Let's go with. You know what? Corner. There's a couple of them there, but I doubt there's that many farther down. Let's go with the right end and look at Bart Green as maybe a possible first-round pick. So that's just kind of thinking way downstream to replace Draymond Jones. Now here, the strengths here don't help me at all. So we got wide out, defensive end. Again, left guard is a weakness. There are defensive ends both left and right here. So let's maybe focus in on defensive ends and see if we can't get one. So here we're going to go, I guess. I should probably actually look at these to see what body type they are. But whatever. It's not that big of a deal. And then here, again, wide receiver is a strength, left end, and corner. Trying to think if we really need to be looking at corner that closely at the moment. Let's just go. Let's go with. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's go with guard here. Nope, see, right guard is a weakness again. Let's go with left guard and see if we get lucky. Again, that's kind of thinking downstream for a replacement for some of those guys that have been on this team from the beginning, just to see if there's somebody out there that maybe we can grab. And it frees up options for trade if we've got, you know, capable players down the depth chart. You know, maybe we trade away one of the aging guys, get a younger guy to replace him, and then go get a stud from somebody by a trade, or pick up a draft, a better draft pick by bundling in a player. I guess, yeah, against the Patriots, let's just go ahead and try and stop Mac Jones. They're not very good rushing the ball, as you can see, just 61 yards a game so far. We'll stick with blitz counter there, and then here it'll be, I guess let's go with our usual goals. Let's actually go pass for 275. I have a feeling we might air it out in this one. Just a hunch. We did not pass the ball very well in that last game. Downfield, we just couldn't connect on anything. We took a couple shots. There was one that you didn't see because I didn't put it into the highlights, but Jerry Jeudy was running a go route and had a step on his man. Would have been an easy touchdown, like 50-yarder, and Morris overthrew him. But all in all, I can't complain about the way we played in that game. Alright, so getting some decent upgrades here. Luke Burke already getting an upgrade, which is nice. Drew Price, I want you to get to where your power is up around 95. There we go. So now he's up to 93 for his kick power, which is better. I want to just keep working on that and get it up a little bit at a time. Alright, and then Luke Burke already getting an upgrade. We'll go with the scheme fit to get him better in that department. Looks like he got a zone bonus as well, which is awesome. And he's already like a third of the way to his dev trait being unlocked, but I'm like 99.9% confident that it's an X factor because it's already showing what his X factor like special trait or whatever is. So, all right, we should win this game. If you look at the overall like ratings of the Patriots roster, they're just not very good. and we get them at home. So I'm going to be pretty disappointed if we don't pick up a win in this one. And I'd like to just crush them too. It would be nice. Come on, guys. Well, we won. It was closer than I would have liked. 31-24. Let's look at the stats here. So we've got a 2-0 start. 31 points in each game offensively. We definitely stopped the run. We did okay against the pass. And then offensively, we were just kind of okay. We didn't turn the ball over, and we got 2 turnovers. And it was a tie game going into the fourth quarter. So, a little bit closer than we would have liked. But Brett Morris was solid. 241 yards. Sacked twice, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. We got 2 picks and 2 sacks against Mac Jones, and he threw for basically the same amount of yards. Nice day for Javonte Williams, although the average yards per carry, not the greatest. Pollard was all right. Trey Stevenson was all right. Hunter Henry, nice day. Noah Fant, nice day. Callaway, 73 yards and a touchdown. Trey Stevenson, 2 touchdown catches. Limited action for Sutton and Judy. Decent day for Alberto. I like it. And then nothing else really noteworthy down here. Defensively, Sammy Webster led the team in tackles. There's Spencer Johnston up there. Where's Burke? Come on, man. Just 4 tackles? Come on, Rook. All right, so Johnston and Webster got the sacks. And then for them, Cortez Hackett. It's a cool name. And then Chase Winovich. Who got the interceptions? Webster and Willis. So Willis making some plays now. Trying to keep that starting role at strong safety. But he probably feels the heat with Luke Burke getting some playing time and making some plays. Especially.
Now, it's at this point right here where you'll see me continue to go on through the menu and working my way through the week, but realistically, we're about 50 minutes into the episode, and I should have called it right here, but I totally was just kind of like, locked in, I guess, and just went on through simming a couple more games and then getting into our next live action without having a break in episodes. So what I'm going to do is a little bit unorthodox, is go ahead and just call it here. And then we will jump back in basically right here at the beginning of the next episode with, the introduction there being a little bit off the cuff as well. So anyway, apologies, but if you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below, and we will see y'all next time.
Good evening, friends and neighbors. Or shall I say this afternoon?